Welcome back to Let's Be Frank, a storytelling podcast where you, the all-important listener, get the opportunity to be one of the fates that chooses Frank's actions and decisions. When we last left, Frank and his friends were trapped in the bottom of a well, with a dark unknown before them and zombies above. What will Frank do next? One all-important listener, Kevin, proposed an idea that led Frank to the decision he made, which was...
We can't just sit here and wait. We have light, and we don't know how long that wooden well cap will hold. Joylin said that the zombies started the fires that burned down their homes. They set fire to that cap.
Then it's just a matter of time before they do the same to the cap and swarm us.
So, even if we're not certain about the destination, we still need to be as far away from the well as possible in case that cap gives.
Exactly.
Well, in that case, I feel that we should have Mog lead the way.
Mog lead? But Frank has
done his part, Mog. He faced us in the direction we needed to be. Now, it's up to us to act on this. Frank is still learning combat, and we need good swords to cover the front and the rear.
You can do it, Mog. I have faith in you.
Yeah, big guy. Your senses are better than ours.
Then let's go. We do not have time to waste.
The group set off into the darkness and unknown ahead, with Mog holding the staff for light and leading the others.
Ulrich, you know that any of us will help if you start tiring. Talana's light, but walking in water in uneven terrain will wear you out fast.
I will be fine.
I wanted to talk to Ulrich, not his pompous manly pride.
Joanna, I promise if I begin to wear out and I require assistance, you will be the first person I turn to.
Mog no like cracks and rock over us.
It's perfectly safe, Mog. It's rock, not dirt, and has stood for quite a long time from the looks of it.
Still something to watch. We should probably keep our voices low, too, in order to keep from shaking things up too much.
What do you mean, shake things up?
If you get too loud in an unstable cave, it can collapse.
Sort of like how the cave collapsed when we saved those children, only here it would have been collapsed by the sounds, and not by a fireball.
It was an accident. She panicked. She said so herself.
I wasn't implying anything. I was simply making a comparison for Frank, who seemed to be unaware of how cave collapses happen.
Would you have said that if Talana had been awake?
Of course not.
Guys, I don't think he meant anything personal about...
Frank, stop. I know you want to keep the peace, but peace isn't always the right option.
I know. Peace is the only right option. Anything else leads
Mog
to...
think this not time or place.
No, I feel this may be the most appropriate time for this.
Keep your voices
Guys,
down.
we need to focus.
Well, at least I waited for her to be unconscious before I said anything. I didn't scream it out loud in her face.
Mog, take Talana. I have to deal with
Lev, that was uncalled for. And Ulrich, the only thing you need to deal with is your temper. This is not...
Enough!
Deep within the caverns, the group could hear a crackling and rumbling. Suddenly, the cavern ceiling began to crumble over Frank. Frank, look out! Levinant surged towards Frank and, placing two hands on his chest, shoved Frank up and away, leaping back just as the overhead area collapsed.
No! Frank!
No, this can't be happening.
Silently, Mog walked from the front of the group to Levinance and, without a sound, took Levinance by the throat and lifted him upward.
Why you kill Frank? Saved.
The hell you did! We all saw what happened.
Levinance snapped the edges of his hands against the sides of Mog's elbow.
You have about 1 minute before you're in. Start talking.
If I had tried to pull him, it would have taken longer than using my momentum to push him back and away from the collapse. If I had pulled, we both would have been crushed.
Are you guys okay over there?
Frank, are you okay?
I am, thanks to Lev. It's dark, so it might take me a little longer, but there's another branch over here. I'll go that way and see if it meets up ahead.
Remember what I taught you about your sword, Frank?
Hopefully I won't need it. Pointy goes into the other guy, right?
Mog lead us forward and find you on other side.
Mog returned to the front and began moving forward. Ulrich readjusted the sleeping Talana on his back and followed behind him. Joanna stared hard at Levinance.
So you live to see another day, if anything happens to Frank.
You may not believe me, Joanna, but you can believe this. I do not want Frank, you, or anyone else here to come to any harm in this cave.
You go on ahead of me. I'll be right behind you where I can keep an eye on you.
As the group began following Mog's lead with Talana's glowing staff, poor Frank was left alone in the dark.
I guess the good news would be that I'm not afraid of the dark. The bad news is that I can't see a thing. Everything I do echoes. Which means anything in here will hear me before I hear them or get to them or anything.
Frank pressed on, hoping to stumble into his friends sooner rather than later. As he continued, though, the water fell away and he was slowly walking on solid, dry cavern floor.
Man, I really hope that everyone's okay. I hate it that everyone was fighting just before the collapse. I think that everyone was just on edge and...
Have you ever considered the possibility that there are some differences between people that cannot be overcome?
Who said that?
I did. You were in my home, so I felt it more than appropriate to join in conversation if conversation is to be had.
Oh, yeah, I just thought I was talking to myself, that's all.
You do that a lot. Hold counsel with your own thoughts.
Absolutely. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, you know?
Wise words for a man that resembles a drowned rat.
That seems kind of personal. Wait, you can see in here?
Of course I can.
Well, my name is Frank. I came down here with my friends. Well, we ran down here because we were being chased by zombies.
Oh, really? Do tell.
Yeah, they attacked a village before we got there. The only person we found alive was a young girl hiding in the well. I mean, she brought us down here.
So, Frank, where are your friends now?
Now? Oh, that's right. They started arguing and got a little too loud and caused a cave-in. That's how we got separated. So, what's your name?
My name is Raylerin Gray, and it is a pleasure to meet you, Frank.
Pleasure's all mine. Say, I don't suppose you have like a torch or a flashlight I might borrow? Light my path ahead, would you?
The only source of light I have would make your journey more difficult, not less.
I see. I mean, I don't. It's kind of the point. Anyway, well, with this being your home, can you tell me if there is a way ahead that can get me back with my friends?
Yes. Follow the way you are walking. The path is relatively straight. You should be able to find them.
Thanks, Raylerin.
Frank started to turn and leave. Then Raylerin noticed him hesitate.
I'm curious about something. You mind if I ask you a personal question?
Of course you can, Frank. I'm intrigued as to what question you would ask of a voice in the dark.
It's actually about that. This is pretty deep underground. The area here is nice and warm. I bet it stays like this all year long, huh?
Of course. The further you move away from the chaos above, the more order you find.
You ever go out?
Of course I do. Nothing can live in darkness alone. I go out to gather provisions for myself, but I do so under the cover of night.
Does the light bother you?
No, not the light. Just everything within it. You see, Frank, I choose to stay here because, in my experience, people are not inherently good.
That also seems kind of personal. Wait, so would that make me a bad person?
Of course not, Frank. I meant the people of the world as a whole. An average, if you will.
I mean, that's not how I see it. I always thought that, with all things being equal, people will more often choose to help rather than hurt.
You're still young, Frank. I do not feel you are a bad person. But there are many that are good. But there are more which are not.
Well, I'm sorry you see things that way, Raylorin.
Imagine you have a small cup. Inside the small cup there are 100 stones, 50 red, 50 blue. If the blue were the good people, and the red were bad, and I shake and mix the cup, I always seem to find more red than blue.
I mean, then keep shaking. What you see before you only stops when you stop shaking. Don't see what you like? Just keep shaking that cup.
But if it were that simple, Frank.
I mean, it can be. Look, we're obviously straining this metaphor here, but speaking of shaking, I've enjoyed our chat, but I really need to find my friends before they kill each other.
Then farewell, Frank. May your light of hope guide you in dark times like these.
Farewell, Raylorin.
And with that, Frank continued out of the area, groping about in the darkness, following the wall, hoping to find his friends soon. Meanwhile, in another section of the cavern, Mog and the others found a dry path to walk as well.
Mug hoped Frank not hurt, or hungry, or scared, or thirsty.
Frank is always scared, Mog. He does, however, tend to go on regardless.
Ulrich, you're exhausting yourself. Let one of us...
I'm not tired, Joanna. Just winded a little. This is nothing.
Well, Ulrich, if you change your mind, let one of us know.
Your pride is carrying you a lot further than I had originally thought, Ulrich.
It's not pride, Joanna. It's guilt. Ulrich tossed Talana into Joanna's arms and rushed Lebanon.
Lev, your speech is forcing me to re-examine Mog's position of your place in this company.
I am not your enemy, Ulrich. I have come to think of you as a friend. Therefore, I will not coddle your emotions and allow them to become delicate.
What are you blathering on about?
I feel bad about Talana's plight, especially after your episode with her earlier. Magic as big as a house, I believe you asked for today. Remember?
I'm warning you,
It was the same thing you accused her of that day. Remember?
Lev, you might want to stop while you're ahead.
Were you proud of your wit when she fell from exhaustion, or did you feel...
It felt horrible. There, are you happy? I was not proud of that moment, but she and I had already made up, and she didn't seem upset.
Until she hit you. Did she ever seem upset before? Ulrich and Lebanon stood facing one another, swords in hand, with Joanna holding the still unconscious Talana in her arms. Mog approached the group.
Talk ends now. Lev not enemy right now. Cave is enemy. Lost Frank is problem. Need to fix problem and defeat enemy. No more talk unless see unicorn, or Mog breaks knees.
Way to go, Mog!
Include you, Joanna. No one speak. Everyone's silent. No one here but Mog speaks civil anymore. So no speak. Walk. Search. Find Frank and find way out.
Ulrich took the sleeping Talana from Joanna, and once adjusting her on his back, began following Mog.
Are you finally
Joanna! Knees!
Not too far away, Frank thought he heard the familiar sound of one of his friends.
That sounded like Mog. It has to mean I'm getting closer. Hey guys! I'm over here!
Frank picked up his pace, and within seconds, he could begin making out the light cast from Talana's staff in the distance.
Frank, that you?
Yeah, buddy, it's me. Whoa, give me just a second for my eyes to adjust to that staff light.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we're all glad to see you're okay, Frank.
You can't, but you're not wrong. Glad to see you're back, Frank.
We missed you, as weird as that sounds.
We all did.
Everyone turned to look as Talana moved just a little bit on Ulrich's back.
You're awake.
I am now. How long have I been sleeping?
A few hours now.
Yeah, Ulrich wouldn't let any of us help. He's had you the entire time.
Ulrich Ladyman worried about friend.
Thanks, guys. You can set me down now, Ulrich.
Are you certain?
To walk, yes. Not quite ready for running. So let's avoid the whole life and death moments for the rest of the day, if it's possible.
Ulrich gently lowered Talana to the floor, but remained still until she had regained her balance and let go of his shoulders.
Don't let yourself get so worn out next time. Let us know. We can save the world, but we still have time for naps.
I've been smelling sand and dry dirt recently. Getting stronger further we go.
Hey, that's promising.
Also smell the dead.
And there went the good feelings.
Dead smells are weak. If daytime, Mog not worried.
If it's not, we stay quiet and wait for daylight before leaving from underground.
Agreed. However, having 7 people moving at once makes noise. Once we see the light at the end of this tunnel, we send 1 person to check the area ahead.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
Speaking of better safe, you know what? I feel like we need another one of your famous team building sessions once we get out of here, Frank.
I agree. I think we all need it.
Reunited once more, the heroes traveled further into the cavern for what seemed like hours. Eventually, they began to see light ahead.
I'll dispel the light from the staff so we can see the exit better.
So, I guess one of us needs to go and check to see if the area outside here is crawling with the dead as well?
Yep, I'll be right back.
No, that's not a great idea.
I was only gonna look.
So, what would you do if you looked out and something looked back?
That's a good point. You make a good point. You know, it might be better if someone more experienced took a look.
I'll go. I have good eyes for seeing things at a distance.
Be careful, Lev.
As the others waited, Levinitz walked to the exit of the cave and peered across the wasteland. To his north lay ancient ruins of what was once a grand city, teeming now with the undead. To his east, he could see a nearby high-walled city at the edge of the wasteland, seemingly untouched by the dead nearby. So, brooding weather, undead nearby, and a city to prepare within. This has worked out almost too perfect. Turning, he motioned to the group, who then joined him at the exit.
These old ruins are crawling with skeletons, zombies, and things I can't even identify.
They seem to be congregating there, almost like it is their stronghold.
It could be. I mean, it may be where the leader is holed up.
My eyes count over 100, which will be 10 times more once it is dark.
So, make run for the city or go to ruins?
That's a great question, Mog. Let's watch him for a little while and maybe we can learn something.
Back in the cave, Rayler and Gray was having a second visitor in less than a minute.
It is strange that I am having a conversation today with someone I did not invite to my home.
Raylan, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
This makes the second person in less than a day. Both blessings and curses come in threes. Oh,
I hope that you are not cursed with my presence.
I do not yet know because you have not told me the reason for
But first, when you met today, what did you think of him?
Small, wet, smell of horse and fear.
I didn't say describe him. I was aware of his looks. I wanted to know your opinion of him.
He was afraid. And yet he did not stop his advance. He once could have left, but turned to ask questions of me. He was curious, more curious than scared.
Did you notice anything different about him?
Of course I did. How could I not?
So, when the time comes...
Drashy, forgive me, I must be blunt. I have had enough of this world. I have seen all its peoples, and I have seen them at their best, and I have seen them at their worst. I will not help.
I will respect your decision, even if I disagree with your reasons.
And to spare the curse of the third visit, tell your brother the scene goes for him as well. I am done with the world, whether the world is done with me or not.
Back at the cavern exit, the group continued to watch the dead at the ruins.
I'm telling you, if they start coming at us, we can still outrun them to the city.
You're tired. And Talana is still in no shape for a fight. If only 50 of them came at us.
Not certain dead would come. Not bothering city, and it full of people. They may not leave there before dark.
If we keep arguing like this, it will be dark before we come to a decision, and by then, it will be too late.
Frank, do we go? Or do you think we can take them? I'm a little better.
Frank could tell that she, Ulrich, and the others were exhausted. Well, he was as well. If they could get to the leader, though, before all of them came out at night, it would make stopping the entire group much easier. But would it be better to wait and run to the city and hope to rest and prepare before a battle like this? Frank listened to the voices of the Fates. Opening his eyes, he said, "Well, what did Frank say? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself. Remember when I told you that you, the all-important listener, would be the steward of poor Frank's fate? Well, you really are. What will Frank do next? You tell us." To do that, you can visit letsbefrankthepodcast.com and click on one of the social media buttons at the top and tell us what you think Frank should do next on either Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Remember, you are the fates controlling Frank's fate. Let's try not to let him down. Some of the music and sound effects in this podcast come from Tabletop Audio. If you're running a game, the perfect background music and sound effects can be difficult to assemble. But with Tabletop Audio, you can play songs fitting your campaign and use sword clangs and magical bursts to set the mood for the next adventure and take your game to the next level. For your next RPG game, visit tabletopaudio.com and tell them that Levenant sent you. No, don't tell them that. Tell them that Joanna sent you. Yeah, Joanna. She talks to a lot of people. A lot.